Here we go. Today, random reads. This is good. It looks spooky. H.P. Lovecraft, The Thing on the Doorstep and Other Weird Stories. Yes, I like weird right in the title. Right in the title. That's good. It's got a skull guy on the cover. This is a Penguin Classics. So we're going to randomly... I'm finding that the random isn't quite as random. It's very difficult to be random. I think maybe like if I stood the book up on end and threw playing cards at it and just whatever one stuck, that might be better. But to pick this way, I end up kind of knowing where-ish to stop at and stuff. So I'm not sure. We'll have to work out a random spot. But for now, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna start. Ooh, cool. There was something in there. It's a Simpsons. What do you call that? A bookmark. It says "Read, man," and it's got the Simpsons on it. Everybody's reading. Even the dog and the cats. Homer's reading the TV guide. And Grandpa's even in a picture reading a book. It says how to do something. Oh. Lisa's got a shitty stack of books like me. That's good. Alright. Good find. Read, man. It's good advice. It's good to read. So that's a good... indicator of our spot. We're reading H.P. Lovecraft, The Thing on the Doorstep and Other Weird Stories randomly, and found a bookmark. Interesting. All right. He did. His voice seemed utterly unfamiliar. It was deeper, firmer, and more decisive than I had ever known it to be. While his accent and pronunciation were altogether unchanged, though vaguely, remotely, and rather disturbingly recalling something I could not quite place, there was, I thought, a trace of very profound and very genuine irony in the timbre, not the flashy, meaningless, jaunty pseudo-irony of the callow sophisticate which Derby had habitually affected, but something grim, basic, pervasive, and potentially evil. I marveled at the self-possession so soon following the spell of panic struck, muttering, "I hope you'll forget my attack back there, Upton," he was saying. "You know what my nerves are, and I guess you could excuse such things. I'm enormously grateful, of course, for this lift home. And you must forget, too, any crazy things I may have been saying about my wife and about things in general. That's what comes from overstudy in a field like mine. My philosophy is full of bizarre concepts, and when the mind gets worn out, it cooks up all sorts of imaginary, concrete applications. I shall take a rest from now on, and you probably won't see me for some time, and you needn't blame Senath for it." What's the name? Senath for it. This trip was a bit queer, but it's really very simple. There are certain Indian relics in the North Woods, standing stones and all that, which mean a good deal in folklore, and Asenath and I are following that stuff up. It was a hard search, so I seem to have gone off my head. I must send somebody for the car when I get home. A month's relaxation will put me back on my feet. I do not recall just what my own part of the conversation was, for the baffling alienage of my seatmate filled my consciousness. With every moment my feeling of elusive cosmic horror increased, till at length I was in a virtual delirium of longing for the end of the drive. Derby did not offer to relinquish the wheel, but I was glad of the speed with which Portsmouth and Newburyport flashed by. It's got little numbers there. Anyway, there's Newburyport flashed by. At the junction where the main highway runs inland and avoids Innsmouth, I was half afraid my driver would take the bleak shore road that goes through the damnable place. He did not, however, but darted rapidly past Rowley and Ipswich. And there's some more numbers. Those are for the footnotes, I guess, or endnotes. It has to do with places. Anyway, he did not, however, but darted rapidly past Rowley and Ipswich towards our destinations. We reached Arkham before midnight and found the lights were still on at the old Crowenshield house. Derby left the car with hasty repetition of his thanks, and I drove home alone with a curious feeling of relief. It had been a terrible drive, all the more terrible because I could not quite tell why, and I did not regret Derby's forecast of a long absence from my company. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty intense and readable. I don't know. I think everybody's mind is programmed a little bit different. So this book, H.P. Lovecraft, at least that story, at least that paragraph, that random spot, it was written with my particular program in mind. Not me personally, but somebody like me. Those other books were written like shit, except for Moby Dick. Moby Dick was written fairly well with my program in mind, but I think different than this program. You see, like I think this is more in my record grooves, where something like a Moby Dick would create its own grooves. So an expansion, whereas something like a Henry James would just make me want to shoot myself because it's so goddamn boring and dumb. The only way I can think of it is dumb. It's like security camera footage that where nothing ever happens. It's not really like exciting. It's just dumb, and that's what it feels like. It's pointless. I only read a paragraph of it. All right, but it didn't groove with me. It felt like there was nothing there. But something like this with one paragraph, I feel like, wow, there's something there. This has anyway, it might just be that I like it better, but it felt completely different to read than other stuff. I never read a lot of H.P. Lovecraft. Anyway, I liked it. H.P. Lovecraft, The Thing on the Doorstep.